Hello, it's Teacher Chloe here. I hope everybody's doing well and keeping safe during this time. I'm really missing you guys and I can't wait until we're back in class together. But for today, we're going to be doing a lesson with this video. So we talked about the different organs in our body and how we have different systems. And today we're going to be looking at the human circulatory system. And that's basically the flow of blood around our entire body. So let's get into it. Right. The function of the heart. It's obviously very important because the heart is a powerful muscle that is situated between your lungs and protected by the rib cage. The heart pumps blood to the lungs to get oxygen. The heart pumps the oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. So, obviously, we need to have oxygen in our blood in order for everything to function properly, and the heart is the pump. So, this pumps the blood around our body. As you can see with the diagram over there, that we have all the labels of the different parts of the heart. We'll be looking at that in the next slide in more detail. So let's take a look see. Right, so we're going to click to go through each stage of the process. You can watch the heart over there and it will show you exactly the flow of the blood within the heart. So the first one we're going to be looking at is the right atrium. Right, so the blood goes down over there. Then we have the right ventricle and it goes around. We also have the pulmonic valve and it goes back up, and we have the pulmonary artery on the left and out into your into your lung there because of the air sacs, which we'll get to soon, and then your blood that is not it's poor in oxygen will get reoxygenated. Then we have the left pulmonary veins, and we have the left atrium, the left ventricle, and you can see it's all sort of almost the opposite of the right. We have the aortic valve. Oh, I didn't click that nicely. We have the aortic valve and the aorta. And so we have two sides of the heart, as you can see, we have a left and a right. And within the heart, they are pumping blood and it's going round in a circle because, well, I'm going to get into it more so now. And we're going to watch a video that's going to help. But basically what happens is blood needs to be oxygenated, it needs to carry oxygen in it so that everything can function in our body. We spoke about this yesterday a bit when we did the respiratory system. So I'm just going to touch on the lungs because there's a certain aspect which is basically the air sacs and how they get involved with the circulatory system. So let's just look at what we talked about yesterday. So remember when I spoke to you about how when we breathe in, the intercostal muscles contract and the diaphragm pulls down. So this allows the chest to expand and it lets us suck in air. Okay, and then the opposite of that is exhaling, and this is when the diaphragm is relaxed and the air is pushed out of the lungs. Okay, and it allows our rib cage to sort of move downwards. We spoke about this yesterday though, so it's just a recap. There's nice diagrams here to show you, so there you can see the diaphragm will pull down, the diaphragm will relax, the lungs shrink, and the muscles relax, and the lungs expand, and the muscles contract. Right. The function of the lungs continued. The air breathed in through the mouth or the nose travels down the trachea, through the bronchi, into one of the lungs. The air travels into the bronchioles and into the air sacs. Remember I was talking about the air sacs, this is where it's important for the circulatory system. Another name for these air sacs is obviously the alveoli. So let's take a look-see at that. The function of the alveoli. The oxygen is absorbed into the blood through a layer of moisture in the air sacs. Carbon dioxide in the blood is transferred back into the air, which then travels back out of the lungs. So this is all to do with breathing. And as you can see in the diagram here, these are actually very, very small, tiny things, but they've been blown up so that you can see. And we have the air sac here that's allowing oxygen or O2 to come back into our blood, and we are releasing or getting rid of CO2, which is carbon dioxide, which we breathe out. Right. Now we're looking at blood vessels. So blood vessels are very important because they are part of this function of the air sacs, and they're within the, oh, not the air sacs, sorry. They're part of the heart, and they allow, blood vessels allow blood to do certain things. So let's take a look-see. So we have arteries, and arteries carry oxygenated blood away from the heart. Okay, so that takes the oxygenated blood and it takes it away from the heart and through the body where we use that oxygen. Then we have capillaries, and these enable the exchange of oxygen with the blood. So like I said, it's sort of to do with the air sac as well, where it allows oxygen to come into our body, and except this is an artery, a capillary, which exchanges the oxygen in our body. Okay. Then we have veins. So remember, we've spoken about veins. You should be able to see your veins over here as an example. The veins carry blood from capillaries back to the heart to be pumped to the lungs to be reoxygenated. Okay, and we're going to be watching a video now that's going to show you exactly what that looks like. Right, just give me 1 minute to quickly put my video on, or it should take me less than a minute, and then we can watch it and learn something very interesting. It's a short video, it's only 3 minutes, so let's take a look-see and listen to what he is describing.
Your heart is a pump. It's a muscular organ about the size of your fist and is located slightly left of center in your chest. Your heart is divided into the right and left side. The division protects oxygen-rich blood from mixing with oxygen-poor blood. Together, your heart and blood vessels comprise your cardiovascular system, which circulates blood and oxygen around your body. In fact, your heart pumps about 5 quarts of blood every minute, and it beats about 100,000 times in one day. That's about 35 million times in a year. Oxygen-poor blood, blue blood, returns to the heart after circulating through your body. The right side of the heart, composed of the right atrium and ventricle, collects and pumps the blood to the lungs through the pulmonary arteries. The lungs refresh the blood with a new supply of oxygen, making it turn red. Oxygen-rich blood, red blood, then enters the left side of the heart, composed of the left atrium and ventricle, and is pumped through the aorta to the body to supply tissues with oxygen. 4 valves within your heart keep your blood moving the right way. The tricuspid, mitral, pulmonary, and aortic valves work like gates on a fence. They open only one way and only when pushed on. Each valve opens and closes once per heartbeat, or about once every second. A beating heart contracts and relaxes. Contraction is called systole, and relaxing is called diastole. During systole, your ventricles contract, forcing blood into the vessels going to your lungs and body, much like ketchup being forced out of a squeeze bottle.
Right, before we continue, I just wanted you to take a look-see. If we look at this video, you can see that this blue blood, or poor oxygenated blood, is going straight into the lungs where it will receive oxygen again. And then once it receives oxygen, it comes back into the left side of the heart, and that leads into our body. So if it's poorly oxygenated blood, it will go back to the lungs, and then once it gets reoxygenated, it comes from the lungs and it goes through the body.
The right ventricle contracts a little bit before the left ventricle does. Your ventricles then relax during diastole and are filled with blood coming from the upper chambers, the left and right atria. Then the cycle starts over again. Your heart is nourished by blood too. Blood vessels called coronary arteries extend over the surface of your heart and branch into smaller capillaries. Here you can see just the network of blood vessels that feed your heart with oxygen-rich blood. Your heart also has electrical wiring, which keeps it beating. Electrical impulses begin high in the right atrium and travel through specialized pathways to the ventricles, delivering the signal to pump. The conduction system keeps your heart beating in a coordinated and normal rhythm, which in turn keeps blood circulating. The continuous exchange of oxygen-rich blood with oxygen-poor blood is what keeps you alive.
Right, So we've come to the end of that video, and we've also come to the end of the lesson. I hope that you have learned something interesting. So what's going to happen now is you're going to get a worksheet, and that's going to have to do with the circulatory system. And if you're unsure about anything, or you're uncertain, you can use the internet, you can use a book, you can use a dictionary, anything that's really going to help you with this. And you can always ask somebody who's at home with you as well. I'm really missing you, and I can't wait until we're back in class together. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye. Okay. Bye.